Hello, lovely. This is Into the Hen House, a podcast for moms with littles. We are joining our voices to a revolution of remembrance. And as mothers, we are rising together and choosing to live, birth, and mother from a place of internally sourced power and deep connection. Join us on this journey as we dive into topics of mindful and intuitive living and mothering, healthy and sovereign living, as well as the often taboo topic of birth trauma, both healing and preventing it. We are your hosts, Andrea,
Caitlin,
and Chantal.
And if you're ready, it's time to jump into the hen house.
Hello, welcome back, everyone. This is part 2. We're continuing our conversation with Ashley about love and how she is modeling and teaching and talking to and living a life full of love with her daughter and her family. And so we're continuing that conversation today. And if you missed the first half of this episode, definitely scoot back to last week, and make sure that you listen. And definitely also follow Ashley on Instagram at A Mom's World, and you will not be disappointed. And you'll get to see her in a wig every once in a while too.
It's true, yeah. I'm out.
So as a mom who cares deeply about the world, but also about protecting inner peace, and how do you balance that? And kind of how do you teach that balance also to your kids? Like keeping a loving, open heart and all of that.
Yeah, it's definitely tough. I feel like it's something that I still am working on and figuring out as we go. Because I want to protect my peace. I want to protect my child's peace, our family's peace. But I also want to know what's going on and be informed with what's going on in the world. So sometimes she may overhear, some conversations about maybe something that happened. It could be something that was maybe, maybe some kind of violence happened and she overhears it. And so we never talk about like a deep dive into anything specific of what's going on. But a lot of times we'll talk about how we'll use that time to talk about how it's important to spread love and how it's important to, share resources with other people, or when people are hurt, being able to talk about, if we pray for them or for their BooBoos. For my child, that's what she would say. She's thinking their BooBoos. And so we have moments where we'll have small conversations with her. But a lot of times my husband and I tend to have those more in-depth conversations when she's sleeping. That way she's just not, really hearing some of the things that are going on in the world. So, and I've also found that when I'm with my toddler every day, I'm just trying to be in the moment and experience things with her. So allowing myself to see the world with curiosity and wonder and just enjoy that moment. And then allowing myself to have time, whether she's sleeping or taking her nap, to then research and, have that time to either talk with my husband or research things on my own. So just trying to be able to be present, but also be informed and having sort of separate times for that, I guess, which can sometimes be hard because even, you hear things on TV or things come up. And so, always just trying to navigate that. And also I feel like it protects my peace by being able to be present with her, because you're getting a chance to just enjoy and see the simplicity in things, but also how beautiful sometimes the simplicity is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think there's an element of too, when you're really present and really curious, it's hard to be afraid or worried or things like that. Like it makes it more difficult. It's like, okay, I can deal with that later. I can think about that later. Like this isn't the time, this isn't the place. Let me be here, here and now. And honestly, that's probably a skill all of us could do to learn a little bit of, not to say this isn't important, but it's like, oh, okay, like a nervous system is perhaps not intended to deal with so much calamity all at one time. Let me tuck some of it away.
Yes.
And I can figure out how I feel about that later. And let me rather chase after a toddler right now.
Yes.
Because their imaginary world is so much better.
It is. It really is. Yeah. It's, her mindset with things it's so much fun. And so whenever you're just getting a chance to be a part of that and see where her little mind is going, and, and then you set aside sort of the chaos from the day and just handle that another time.
So, right?
Yeah.
Be like, I'm going to put you in a drawer. I'm not going to forget about you.
Yes.
Because I don't want you to start to stink, but I'm going to come back.
Yeah. There's a time and a place for this. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I love what you say too, though, about talking about prayer and bringing prayer into things. I think that's a really beautiful way too, as a family, to create inner peace and to maybe feel less alone, but to also and to cultivate that generosity of spirit towards other people too.
Yeah. It's really nice. I know my toddler, she sort of has her own little prayer that she likes to always pray. She prays the same thing. It's so funny. She'll just be like, "Dear God, I love you in heaven." That's what she says. So, but it's just nice to be able to have that and share prayer together, and it gives her a chance too to see maybe what is on my heart or my husband's heart too, and see what we're talking about, what we're caring about.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
like,
well, and you get to care about the world, but in age appropriate conversation and age appropriate, bite-sized pieces, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely.
With a world that is often harsh, and that's kind of, again, the video that inspired all of this. It was a very harsh week.
Yeah.
It was, it's like, oh my goodness, like it's been a while since so many extraordinarily violent and whatever things have happened all the time. And, and then there's the things that have been going on for a long time. And in case there's little ears listening, I won't get into it here.
Yeah.
But we can make it up, right? Because even
Yeah.
if we don't know that week, it's a similar story across different weeks in time across, our lifetime and human history for sure, right? Like humans are very prone to creating a lot of chaos sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's a lot of hatred in the world, and a lot of harshness, and a lot of criticalness, and a lot of it's me against you, and it's us against them, and division. And there's also, I think, a big part of the population that thrives on creating division and strife, and like and so in this very chaotic swamp that we live in, it's also very beautiful. So there's also the very beautiful part, but it's hard to ignore that there's also some swampy elements.
Yeah.
And a few alligators on the loose.
Yeah.
And so within that, how do you choose to navigate that with keeping an open heart, with keeping an open mind, and wanting that also for your daughter, and yet also knowing it can be a scary world to go out into the world with a wide open heart when, some people are not kind to that kind of, I don't know what to say, approach maybe.
No, I know what you mean. I think it's part of the big thing that I'm teaching my daughter right now is to see the good in others and the good in the moments around us. Also being smart and being aware of our surroundings, aware of, who we have in our life, who we spend our time with. I think a lot of your community also, they also have a part in who your child becomes. And so making sure that the people around them are also, very kind individuals. And I think, honestly, my toddler helps me keep an open mind sometimes. I really think that she teaches me things, because sometimes, it'll be gloomy and pouring down rain outside. And we would have had plans to go outside and go to the park. And I'll be like, oh my gosh, what a bummer. What are we going to do? And my toddler, she'll just be like, Mom, we'll go jump in the puddles. And I feel like having that mindset, you're like, okay, we got to work with what we got, and being able to use those moments to still have that maybe the positive day or the positive interaction, maybe despite maybe not the best circumstances. So she really teaches me, honestly. So a part of what we do too is we love to be outside. We love to talk about animals and nature. We have a little garden, not so much now as we're starting to hit into fall, but we have a little. So we talk about, putting work into the garden and making sure that our plants are doing really well, and how we can, work with our hands and watch our tomatoes and our peppers grow, and what that looks like. And we spend a lot of time at some different farmers markets, and there's a zoo fairly close to us that we go to that you can feed the animals and like go right up into like the animals into their cages and things. It's very hands-on. And so we talk about how you can have those kinds of good relationships with animals too. They can build trust, and you can see whenever you're feeding them and they grow and they're healthy. And we do the same with people. So being able to cultivate those kind of relationships with other people as well, and you can watch your relationship grow. And so trying to show her that whenever you're putting the work in to show love and to do good, you can see those good outcomes. Whether it's, in nature, or whether it's, in a relationship with your neighbor.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I love that. I love that. So you speak very eloquently. I enjoy this.
Thank you.
I'm like, you can take over now. I'm just going to sit back. No. I'm just going to sit back and listen. Just tell me a story,
You're so nice. But no, I mean, that's sort of, yeah. So I think that's my big thing with her, is just sort of showing her, you can really put work into things and see good outcomes. And, and we've had some of our plants have not done so good, just because, life happens, a bug gets to it and things like that. But being able to talk about, hey, we tried to do something good here, and maybe this plant didn't survive, but this one did. Or maybe let's, take this plant out and plant it somewhere else, and maybe the soil will be better there. And so using those moments to show that, it doesn't always work out as planned, but we can still try.
Right. Right. So. And that is something so, I feel like a lot of people, probably in certain ways, myself included, get a little stuck when things don't go as planned, or it can be hard to accept the present moment for exactly what it is. And I think that that's such a beautiful skill to learn, and for children to learn, especially because they're already in the present moment, and they're very engaged with it. And whether they love it or don't love it so much in that moment, it can be, there's volatility, yes, with toddlers, but they're very present. And for adults to say, okay, like, let me not focus all on the past, let me not focus all on the future and what I haven't accomplished yet, but let me really be here and say, okay, this is in its messy, somewhat perfect state, where maybe one plant lived and one didn't, or maybe it's raining, or maybe plans had to get canceled, or whatever it is, but we're here and we're going to make the most of it. And like, what that's honestly, I just think that that's a skill. If people in general could do that, I think we as a society would be so much happier.
Oh yeah. Oh yes. I feel like people get so stuck on maybe like this small part of what didn't work out. But maybe that one part didn't work out, but maybe 10 other things did. And I think sometimes it's so easy get stuck on that, but I feel like you just have to remind yourself that 10 other things went well. So,
Yeah.
I think it's just something that you just sort of need to like change your way of looking at it,
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's such a powerful, it's a very powerful shift. And to learn to do that well is, yeah, it's a real big game changer or a life changer maybe.
Yeah.
But what would you love to share with another mom today? What would you love to tell her, love to share with her, encourage her? Um,
Yeah, so I think I would love to tell other moms, just stop comparing your journey to other people's journey. Um, every mom is going to have a unique experience, a unique birthing experience, a unique child. Um, and what works for some may or may not work for others. So I think to not put so much pressure on yourself if your experience doesn't look like your friends or doesn't look like your neighbors. Um, and I think it's important too for moms and for parents to just trust your instincts, make informed decisions for your child that you and your partner feel are the best for your child. There's not just one way to do things. So, and I think honestly that's the beauty of humanity. I think because we all are so unique, I think that your motherhood journey is going to be unique too. And so, I mean, the world would sort of be it would be awfully boring if we all had the same experiences. So, I think being able to share your experiences, dive into your own self and what you're experiencing and what your situation is, and doing things your way, maybe bouncing ideas off of other families and other women, and getting some thoughts and sort of tweaking it and making it your own. And honestly, as long as you and your family are happy and healthy, I think you're doing something right. So um but I think it's everyone's going to have such a unique experience, and I think it's so incredible to hear what other people and other women um, have done and have been successful with, and things that maybe have experienced that maybe caused trauma, especially during like birthing, and I think it can strengthen, when we share those experiences and people can learn and maybe have different things that they've experienced and those similarities, and sort of see how that
yeah.
back to them. And so, but I feel like it's just, especially with social media, we see so much comparison. And I feel like instead of seeing it as a comparison of, oh my gosh, I'm not doing that, or I didn't do as big of I didn't get as many gifts for my kid, or things like that, instead of seeing it as a comparison, but just seeing how each person is going to have their unique journey, and not so much,
Right.
internalizing it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's something I've been thinking about too, of um, having room for multiple perspectives, but different stories.
Yeah.
And that both stories can be right, both stories can be true, even in an argument, so to speak, right? Like
Yeah.
both people can have a valid and valuable experience,
Yeah.
even if you're perceiving things in very different ways. And it's like to come at it from that, and I think also to look at other moms and say, like, you're doing it your way, and that's great. And if
Yeah.
it's working for you, that's great.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. I feel like being able to build each other up, I think is the biggest thing, instead of, maybe something that I'm doing maybe is completely different than someone else, but being able to be like, hey, that's really working well for you. And look at how much your child is growing, and how wonderful they're doing and how healthy they are. And, but it doesn't matter that they're doing it in a different way. It's,
yeah,
you still get to see the beauty in their experience too.
yeah, yeah. I think that's so wonderful. And I think that, like, as we begin to support each other more, and I do think that it's starting to change, and moms are starting to come together more
Yeah.
and are craving a community and craving connection and
Yeah.
craving authenticity. And and I think as we become more and more open to sharing other people's stories, it's just a massive healing experience
Oh yeah.
where we all get to kind of I don't know, come together and feel invigorated and like, oh my God, like someone heard me. I'm so happy. Someone heard me, someone saw me. Like this is so amazing. And or I shared something that was hard and someone was so kind to me. Or I shared something that I was excited about, a big win, and they cheered me on.
Yeah.
And I'm going, when we can start doing that for each other, it's just a game changer.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Being able to just support and share those, kind words to other people and, building other women up. And I do agree. I think that we are starting to see that shift. I think there's a lot of women that are craving, just to have some cheerleaders behind you, and it doesn't matter. I think social media gives us the opportunity to have people from around the world. So it gives us a chance to meet different women and cheer them on wherever they are and whatever they're doing. And I think I'm starting to see that. And I think that I've had, other mom friends starting to see that as well, where, we're like, hey, we might be in very different parts of the world, but it doesn't mean that we can't root for one another and, and be there for one another to listen or to have some encouragement. So
yeah. And we can move out of competition.
Yeah.
Where it's and out of comparison in the way of if you're doing it this way, it makes someone else wrong, but rather to just say it's different and get to celebrate the diversity with which we mother and the diversity with which our children have come into this world.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's absolutely right.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. This has been so fun. Thank you.
No, thank you for having me.
Yes. Everyone, I am going to put Ashley's information in the show notes, a little bit about her. I'll make sure I share her social media information so you can connect with her. And yes, and we will see you all next week for another wonderful episode. And Ashley, thank you so much for being here. I've had such a fun time, and thank you for your insights.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for listening. If you are loving this podcast, please go ahead and subscribe and leave us a review. Both of these really help the show. As you go out into the world this week, know that we are sending you so much love and wishing you a wonderful and beautiful day, and we will see you back here soon.